December 5, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers lift off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a routine training flight. 14 men. Clear skies at takeoff. 2 hours later, their leader radios that his compasses have failed, and that nothing looks right. Then all 5 aircraft vanish. The rescue plane sent after them vanishes too. 27 men gone in a single afternoon, and not one piece of wreckage ever found. This story built the most Flight 19 disappeared inside a patch of ocean roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. 500,000 square miles of the Atlantic. And by the time the legend finished with it, the story had everything. A flight leader supposedly radioing, "We can't tell where we are, everything is wrong, even the ocean doesn't look as it should." 5 planes swallowed in fine weather. Then the Martin Mariner flying boat, launched that evening with 13 crew, erupting in a fireball before it ever reached the search area. The Navy's official verdict on Flight 19 eventually settled on words that sound like an admission, "'cause unknown." Over the following decades, more names joined the list. The USS Cyclops, a Navy collier that vanished in 1918 with 309 people. Still the U.S. Navy's largest single non-combat loss of life. The airliners Star Tiger and Star Ariel, gone in 1948 and 1949. A DC-3 that disappeared within sight of Miami's lights. Or so the story went. All these ships and planes needed was someone to connect them. In February 1964, a writer named Vincent Gaddis published an article in the pulp adventure magazine Argosy. Its title, "The Deadly Bermuda Triangle." The name stuck like nothing before it. But the phrase only became a phenomenon 10 years later, when author Charles Berlitz released his 1974 book, The Bermuda Triangle. A worldwide bestseller, reportedly selling millions upon millions of copies in some 30 languages. Berlitz layered on the explanations, magnetic anomalies, time warps, UFOs, the lost city of Atlantis. By the mid-70s, the triangle wasn't a theory. It was an industry. Books, documentaries, movies. A fact of life you could point to on a map. Then a librarian in Arizona did something. Larry Kusch was a research librarian at Arizona State University, fielding endless student requests about the triangle. So case by case, he pulled the primary sources. Original newspaper reports, Navy and Coast Guard investigations, weather records. In 1975 he published the results, and the title gave away the ending, "The Bermuda Triangle Mystery, Solved." The pattern was devastating. Ships described as vanishing in calm seas had actually sailed into documented storms. The weather simply left out of the retelling. Vessels counted as triangle victims had gone down nowhere near it. Some losses attributed to the triangle occurred in the Pacific Ocean. Wreckage recorded as never found had, in the real files, been found. And some incidents were so poorly documented, Kusch couldn't confirm they'd happened at all. Then he re-examined Flight 19. And the legend fell apart in the daylight. That haunting quote, "The ocean doesn't look as it should." It appears nowhere in the official transcripts. What the records actually show is the flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, with malfunctioning compasses, convinced he was over the Florida Keys when he was near the Bahamas. So he led 5 planes northeast, deeper into the open Atlantic, as weather worsened and night fell, until the fuel ran out over rough seas that could tear a ditching aircraft apart. And the exploding rescue plane? A crewman aboard a nearby tanker watched it blow up mid-air. No mystery to the Navy, because the Mariner was so notorious for fuel vapor ignition that crews called it the flying gas tank. Cush's verdict was blunt: the mystery was manufactured. No. Lloyd's of London, the insurance market whose business is knowing where ships sink, reviewed its records and found the triangle no more dangerous than comparable stretches of ocean. It charges no extra premium to cross it. The U.S. Coast Guard agrees: given the enormous traffic, this is one of the most heavily traveled corridors on Earth, the losses are ordinary. What the region does have is entirely natural. The Gulf Stream, a fast ocean current that scatters wreckage far from where it fell. Sudden violent weather in the heart of Hurricane Alley. Some of the deepest seafloor in the Atlantic waiting below. Historic compass variation that punished careless navigators. And above all, sheer volume. Where thousands of ships and planes pass, some, inevitably, are lost. The triangle formula worked because it exploited how we think. Take real tragedies. Strip out the storms, the fuel logs, the mechanical faults. Keep the eerie details, invent a few more, and draw a border around the survivor's grief. Our brains do the rest. Because a pattern, even a sinister one, feels safer than randomness. The word for the sea just swallowed. Berlitz's book sold millions. Cush's careful, documented answer sold a fraction of that. And 50 years later, the triangle still stars in movies and headlines, while the name Larry Cush draws blank stares. The myth didn't survive the evidence. It simply outsold it. So here is the Bermuda Triangle's genuine mystery. The one that's real, measurable, and still unsolved. Why a good story beats a true one, almost every time. The triangle never existed in the Atlantic. It exists in us.